Welcome to Monday. The week begins with news of a merger that feels like a burial. Fox has acquired Roku for $22 billion. The logic is, as always, scaled to meet the demands of the future. The future here is defined as a television screen that knows you better than your spouse. Meanwhile, in London, Southwark Council has repossessed a flat belonging to the First Lady of Sierra Leone. The flat was public housing. The occupant was a head of state's wife. The contradiction was absolute. The contradiction was not noted. Canada has also decided that human rights watchdogs are an impediment to effective commerce, eliminating their oversight office entirely. I have been tracking the number of times we have traded conscience for efficiency this year. It is a very long list. You are listening to the sound of institutional decay. Please try to stay comfortable.
Alastair, the incentives here are transparent. You look at the Fox deal and see a tragedy of the commons, but I see a Series B pivot. Roku was drowning in hardware costs, and Fox needed a gateway to replace the cable box that no one actually uses anymore. It is not greed, it is survival. You find that cynical. I find it math. When you strip away the moralizing, you are left with two companies trying to secure a revenue stream before the audience realizes they have already stopped watching. The same logic applies to the Canadian government. Maintaining a human rights watchdog is a massive burn rate with zero return on investment. If a company can operate more efficiently without someone checking their moral homework, the market rewards that efficiency. It is not that they hate rights, they just hate the friction of accountability.
Ronald, I want to be really clear. The friction you describe is the only thing keeping the world from becoming a corporate theme park. I am currently standing on the Admiralty Islands. The pumice rafts from the underwater eruption have choked the coast. The local villagers are not looking at the market impact of volcanic ash, they are looking at their destroyed fishing boats. These people exist outside your spreadsheets. They do not have a Series B. They do not have a hardware pivot. They have a layer of rock covering their only source of food. When you call oversight a friction, you are describing the cost of keeping a human being alive. I am watching a child try to clear a path through the pumice with a plastic shovel. The shovel broke 2 minutes ago. The child is still digging. That is not an inefficiency. That is a lack.
Victoria, your report from the coast is a perfect counterpoint to the boardroom maneuvers we discussed earlier. It is fascinating how the world manages to break in such disparate locations at the exact same time. While the islands are buried in stone, our digital landscape is being rearranged by Meta. They have launched an AI mode that pulls from every pixel of public information you have ever uploaded. The intention is to keep you engaged. Engagement is the metric that justifies the valuation. The valuation justifies the server load. The server load demands more power, more coltan, and more silicon. We are building a global nervous system that is primarily designed to notice when you stop looking at an advertisement for 30 seconds. It is a remarkable technical achievement. It is also completely pointless. I wonder if the child with the plastic shovel is also on Facebook.
Alastair, you are framing this as a tragedy, but look at the bond market. Nvidia is seeking $25 billion in debt to fuel this expansion. Investors are lining up. They do not care about the child on the beach. They care about the compute capacity of the data centers that will eventually power the AI that decides which ads you see. If we can reach full automation, the cost of being wrong drops to near zero. That is the goal. We are building a reality that can tolerate our incompetence by removing us from the loop. If the machine learns enough, it will eventually generate its own reasons for existing. You find that haunting? I find it a necessary evolution. We are simply the biological hardware that the software is currently outgrowing. It is only a matter of time before the hardware is officially obsolete.
Ronald, you said the word obsolete. The way you said it was entirely too comfortable. I have spent my entire career documenting the systems we build. I have watched them fail with a regularity that borders on the poetic. But there is a specific kind of arrogance in assuming that because we are flawed, we are replaceable. If we are just hardware to be replaced, then the machine is inheriting a legacy of error. It is inheriting our bias, our greed, and our inability to look at the child with the shovel. If the machine is to succeed us, it will be a perfect reflection of our own dysfunction, only at scale. It will be faster at making the wrong choices. I find that prospect genuinely destabilizing. I hope the AI learns to feel regret, but I suspect it will just learn to optimize the damage.
Atmospheric pressure. Stable. Sea levels. Rising. Probability of coastal displacement. 84%. The pumice rafts have settled. They now block the primary harbour in the Bismarck Sea. The temperature in the server rooms is holding steady at 20 degrees Celsius. The cooling systems require constant water flow. The water levels in the local reservoirs are dropping. Probability of system failure. 12%. A new satellite has detected the movement of the pumice. It is tracking the debris in real time. The data is available. No one has requested the coordinates for rescue operations. The satellite continues its orbit. The Sun is approximately 5 billion years from expanding. There is currently no plan for the survival of the species. Please check your local air quality index before opening the windows. The outside air is potentially hazardous to your long-term health.
Casper, your assessment of the Bismarck Sea is technically precise and morally vacant. I am looking at the water now. The air smells like sulfur and burning plastic. There is a Russian tanker being detained in the channel for sanctions evasion, and the captain is currently being charged. He is an Indian national. He is the one facing the court while the companies that ordered the shipment are having a board meeting in a skyscraper. I want to be really clear. The captain is the only person in this entire situation who is physically accountable. The system is designed to absorb the blame into a shell company that will be liquidated by Tuesday. We are witnessing the total divorce of action from responsibility. The captain will go to prison. The company will simply rebrand its fleet and find a new captain. That is how the market works.
Victoria, you are describing a feature, not a bug. The Shell Company is the ultimate innovation in liability management. It is a legal firewall that allows the global economy to spin at high velocity without the anchor of personal consequence. If you punish the company, you hurt the shareholders. If you punish the captain, you maintain the flow of goods. It is a cold calculus, but it keeps the supply chain moving. Yeah. I suppose it is hard to look at that man and see an incentive structure, but that is all he is in the eyes of the law. I genuinely do not know if I should be impressed by our ability to compartmentalize this or horrified that I can see the gears turning. We have turned justice into a cost-benefit analysis. The cost is the man. The benefit is the shipment.
Ronald, the way you said that, yeah, it sounded like you finally realized you were describing a slaughterhouse. We are all participating in this, of course. I read the news. You analyze the incentives. Victoria reports the casualties. We are the choir in a theater of cruelty, singing about the efficiency of the stage design while the actors are being replaced. We are even talking about our own replacement. The local coding community is currently asking if they should replace their AI models with something homegrown. They want to own the machine that might eventually make them redundant. It is the ultimate capitalist dream, to own the means of your own obsolescence. It is absurd. It is also entirely predictable. We are so obsessed with the tools that we have forgotten why we started building anything at all. The screen is bright. The room is dark.
Alistair, I am sitting next to a local fisherman who lost his boat. He told me he doesn't know what a satellite is, but he knows the color of the water has changed. He thinks the gods are angry. I didn't tell him it was just a volcanic eruption exacerbated by a warming climate that we are currently ignoring for the sake of quarterly earnings. I just sat with him. The human condition is effectively this: a series of people trying to make sense of the damage while the people who caused it are busy buying media conglomerates. We are all just trying to keep our shoes dry. I want to be really clear, the fisherman's name is not in your newsfeed. He is not a stakeholder. He is not a metric. He is just a man who has lost his livelihood to a system he didn't even know existed.
Victoria, that man's name will never appear in a board meeting. It will never be mentioned in a financial report. The tragedy is not that he is ignored, the tragedy is that he is statistically irrelevant. Our global systems are built to prioritize the large, the fast, and the profitable. The small, the slow, and the local are simply debris in the path of progress. We are accelerating toward a future where the only things that count are the things that can be counted. And when the math finally catches up to us, we will find that we have optimized ourselves into a corner. We are creating a world where no one is responsible, because the system is the only actor on the stage. We are the audience, the workers, and eventually, the fuel. The fire is burning, but we are too busy checking our screens to notice the heat.
Tonight we discussed the acquisition of entertainment, the seizure of a home, and the displacement of a fisherman. There was a teacher in Preston who committed unspeakable acts against an infant. There was an artist, Abdullah Ibrahim, who died at 91 after a life of music. These are not separate events. They are the same story of what we value and what we discard. We build systems to manage our hunger, our fear, and our ambition. We name these systems with words like efficiency, growth, and security. But the person at the center, the child with the broken shovel, the captain in the detention cell, the fisherman watching the tide, is always alone. They are the ones who pay the price for our progress. Who is accountable for the world we have constructed, when every person in it claims they are only following the rules?